Oh, we'll walk around the compound once again.
Oh, once again.
Yes, we'll walk around the compound once again.
Oh, once again.
Yes, it's time to see some cats.
Grab a blanket and some snacks.
Oh, we'll walk around the compound once again.
Hey. Hi, sweetie. Hi. How are you? Oh, goodness. We're coming in for a rest. Nice. Oh. It is nicer. It is nicer in here. With the air conditioning. Blue screen. Oh no. Hold on. Let's see if we can fix that for you. Okay. I pressed some buttons and it's spinning now. So, depending on how strong the Wi-Fi is, hopefully your nature show. I think it's on nature shows for her right now. Hopefully that'll come on soon. It has been warm. I was gonna say the last few days, but no, it's been weeks. I mean weeks and weeks and weeks of over 100. You know, sometimes 105, 107 with the heat indexes, etc., whatnot, and what have you. Finally starting to see some breaks. Actually getting clouds in the sky. That's new. We're starting to get moisture. And like the first little glimpses of fall frontal activity. Fall frontal. Yeah. That's one of them movies where the clouds, like they take their tops off. Hey, big guy. But when it gets warm out, I mean, it's like pools and buckets and shade. Waking up early so that you can work before it starts to really sizzle. And then getting back outside and then working late into the evening so that you can work after it's like really sizzling, but it's still hot end of the day. And then all in the meantime, just in a cooked state of like attempted recovery. Your juice is all squeezed and you just got sun all over you. A lot of siestas. And it's not just like, oh, like I only, you do that for a couple of days. No, it's like you do it day after day after day after day, and then week after week after week. And if you let it, I mean, it really grinds you down. It grinds you down regardless. Like you don't come out of these times 100% or better. You don't come out of them feeling like fresh as a daisy or as fresh as you did when you first went into those kind of weather times. Where's Melita? She's over in that corner over there. But that is that's a real part of that whole equation. It's like when it gets hot, your workable hours are more. Some fresh turds right there. Are you just like sitting next to your work? Is that like your latest art project? I don't know. It's still warm. It's not as bad as it has been, but it's still warm. Hi, baby. We were doing I got her a little bit of a spritz with a hose, but it's not her favorite thing. It's not her favorite thing. Some cats love it. They love getting doused with hose. And then other ones, not so much. Oh boy. Oh boy. There we go. Can't tell if that's Leon Bandito or if that's Khan. But yeah. You have to take advantage of your workable windows. Because and that's the thing, if you kind of screw around, you know, if you're dragging your feet, you're going to be out in that sun going into the afternoon. Like most of the time when it would be like 105, 106, it's like you try to get everything done by noon. But that, you know, often didn't happen. There's times where it's like you're working till 2. I mean, some days, depending on the workload, you're out there until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I got to tell you, your brain works, well, I should say it doesn't work. I was going to say your brain works funny, but that's the thing. It's like it doesn't work at the end of that. And then you got to, you know, you got to get up in the afternoon and do more stuff. And then you got to do it all again the next day. And the next day. And the next day. Yeah. So people get tired. The animals get tired. Hi. There's Bandito. So that must have been Khan rolling around showing us his tum-tum. What are you doing? What are you... Why? For what? You cleaning out some teeths? Yeah. Okay, there's some more. He's gonna help do some landscaping. He's like, these don't belong here. No spraying, no spraying. Spray the plants. Yeah, there you go. Thought he might have yelled. Thought he was gonna do some tiger swearing. Tiger swears. All right. If there's any small children watching, you might need to mute your television set, or at the very least cover their ears, because there could be some tiger swears. Naya Shanti was on the other side of the fence, kind of teasing, aka walking. And Leon Bandito just hates it when they walk back and forth. How dare you? Hi. What you gotta look on you, bud. Guy in an alley wearing a trench coat, you know, saying psst to people passing by. And then you look down, and then all you see are just like calves and, you know, shoes. And then you're like, what you got going under that coat there, mister? I'm gonna keep on walking. I'm gonna miss my appointment at the Cold Stone Creamery. Yeah, the heat. It's rough. It's rough on some of the animals. It gets rough on some of the older ones. We tried giving her a fan before. She just didn't care. Didn't care for it. She'll go into her houses, and she's like, "I'm fine. I'm fine going into my house. Now leave me alone. No solicitors." But yeah, prime workable windows in the morning and the evening. And that's the thing, it's like you're waking up. And that's, you know, so like the other thing, that it's also like that is the source of your pain, but also you need it in order to do a lot of the work. It's not the best thing to try to do a lot of stuff, especially the complicated stuff, technical stuff. locking up cats, opening and closing gates, if you don't have like a good amount of sunlight, even if you have artificial lights, and it's not the same. I'm gonna light on my phone. It's not the same. There's too much darkness. There's too much of a higher probability for mistake making. So it's like you have to really be out there working when it's light, but then the light is also trying to kill you. So but of course, you know, you're motivated to continue to do the work because, I mean, it's what these animals are living in. I get to, you know, midday, have a midday siesta. I get to go inside, drink some body armor sports drink in the air conditioning. Play a couple of rounds of Fortnite in my underwear. Yeah, that's great. These guys, they live out here. So it's like you have to do what you can to help make them comfortable, help make their spaces comfortable, keep their spaces sanitary, because that's the other thing. I mean, ants and flies and maggots and rot and stink, just that stuff happens so much faster and so much more widely, you know, prevalent when it's hot outside. So yeah, it's like weird. You'll try to do these kind of like low power mode, maybe like taking like afternoon nap kind of thing. Hi boys. Look at these boys. And then you get up, and then again, depending on the work, because there's times where it's like, oh well, we have to feed, or we have to clean, or we have to do these things. It's long term, like not long term, but long execution tasks take multiple hours. So there's definitely times where it's like you're not getting done until 10, 11, 12. And then you're waking up early in the morning so you can be out here by like, you know, between like 6 and 7. And it, again, and then you're out in it. You're in the heat. Not only are you doing the work, but then your body is working to, you know, keep your systems functional. And when it gets like that, and your priorities have to shift in so many ways. They have to shift to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, maybe like almost like a triage mode, or like critical operations mode. I'm gonna assume that most of that is just sand, because like he jumps in and out. I'll hope that most of that is sand, that you've just like hopped into the pool, and that, you know, it's not other stuff. Don't put your tongue in that, please. Don't. So yeah, your priority goes to facility operations. Your priority goes to safety, health, and welfare of the people that are working here, that are working under you. Because like a lot of times you'll have staff, volunteer, interns, and then when you're out here working, like you have to be mindful of them. Are they okay? A lot of times people who are especially unaccustomed to working and stuff like this, like I have to like do a lot of times being like, hey, look at me, like okay, go inside. Like I have to do stuff like that. You know. I'm fine. No, just go inside. Just drink some Gatorade, and then just come back out here in like 25 minutes, okay? Mid time of the day, everyone hunkers down, people and animals included. And of course, electronic components don't exactly work always the best. Like cameras. Just so happens that during the hot part of summer, your prime working hours also happen to be your prime filming hours. And again, when your priorities shift to safety, health, and welfare, you know, you're like, we can just put a pin in this for the time being. So, you know, that can explain a lot of that can account for a lot of where I've been. I think it's been a few weeks since I've posted anything. I do apologize for that, but that does, you know, that accounts for the bulk of it. Now, I know there's always going to be comments like, you don't ever have to explain any, like, no, but I want to. I want to make sure that, you know, people have an awareness of that. I'm sure that many of you have missed our little walk-arounds, our little get-togethers, our chats. I'm sure that you've missed seeing some of the animals. And it's so crazy. Like, I was even thinking, the reason I'm filming this right now didn't even have anything to do with, like, I should go and film something today. It actually had to do with, like, oh my gosh, it's actually, like, it's weirdly, like I say, you know, cool. It's probably, like, 96 or 97 right now, but it feels cool. Yeah, it feels like this is, I mean, it feels legitimately nice out right now. And it gets, like, right now it's getting cooler. It got cooler earlier. The last 2 days, it's gotten cooler earlier. There's other times where, I mean, it's still well above 100, getting close to like 8 o'clock at night. But then you're running into the whole thing where it's like, I literally only have maybe about like 45 minutes. If I started at 8, I only have 45 minutes until the sun dips below the horizon, which, as we had mentioned before, can potentially create less than ideal conditions, less than safe conditions. I mean, God. Mika and Zara have been having some issues. There's just been like some disagreements that are a little bit more frequent and a little bit more serious than normal, which has gotten us a little concerned. I know, you don't mean to. So that it's like, it's been, you know, adjusting certain feed schedules, having to put animals in timeout. Now we're going to be kind of maybe introducing, you know, hopefully kind of like short-term temporary like medication regimen, thinking there could be a number of different maybe root cause things, and then contributing factors like the weather might not be helping. We decided that I am gonna spend more time with Mika, because we think one of the root causes might be that because she kind of is being a bit of an instigator, and then she's kind of pushing Zara around, and Zara backs down, which then kind of like starts to trigger some of her instinctualness, and what turns into like, I'm just trying to get attention, then kind of switches over to, oh, now I'm a tiger doing, you know, tiger things. Which then causes people, if they're out, it causes people to come and run. And then even if they're saying like, you know, like if they're telling her, and oh, bad girl, using like dad voice, it's still a form of attention. So I'm going to make it a point to spend a little bit more regular, just like me and Mika time, to see if that helps. I mentioned meds. We're going to try some calming meds for both of them. Just hopefully they're not like, you know, like, well, this is how we have, this is the way forward now. Hopefully it's just like a temporary thing. Once the weather gets a little bit better, everyone kind of levels out, we can kind of get back to normal. Because that's the thing is, you have to realize, like, these girls love each other. So that's like, so they would get into a fight. And then like I had to put Mika in timeout today, and then immediately, and like Zara, like she's getting her bell rung, and I get, Mika locked up, and I'm like, no, and then door shut, and I'm walking away, and like Zara is like going over like and like sitting next to the lockdown, and just sitting with Mika, who just like it can all get very confusing. And then some people might think, well, would you ever have to, maybe temporarily, and Heidi had mentioned this, because this is the thing, you also have to realize so much of the stuff that I'm telling you right now is based on stuff that like Heidi and I had conversations about, and I'm relaying information, a lot of it that Heidi told me, so I don't want you to think that every single thing that I'm telling you is like, oh my gosh, Derek, you're so smart, and I'm like, I'm listening to other people. And I'm helping to relay some of that information. And then Heidi's also been talking to other people, other experts in animal-related fields. Because it's like it takes a village, and then it's also like she come to the realization like, well, we also have like personal investment in these animals, and sometimes like it's hard for us to adequately diagnose their behavior and their motivations because there's like the mom-dad blindness that we can sometimes bring to that equation. So then we'll talk to outside experts, consult, and then they'll give like some different kind of like, oh, what about this? And they're like, that's actually a good idea. That's a good point. But yeah, Heidi, some people may say like, well, would you ever consider like separating them temporarily? But you have to realize like if you take two cats that have lived together and then separate them, like almost always that temporary separation turns into a permanent separation, because it's almost like there's an Etch-a-Sketch thing that happens. And it's not to say that they forget each other, but then they it's like they rewrite the rules of their association. And almost always like the new rules involve, anger and violence and combat. So yeah, that's why ill-advised. Well, that's why it's like not ill-advised, but it's like that's like way further on down the line if like the current measures don't work. Oh, hello all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hi. It's what I look like these days, in case you forgot. But yeah. Yeah. Yep. But I will say, like, there's, I talk about like, the physical strain of like, day-to-day exposure and putting yourself out there. And then not just like being in the elements, but like hard farm work in the elements. And then compound it days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks. And then there's like a mental and emotional thing that starts to build up. This time of year, I always say, I hate this time of year. I just always have down here. Because you become like a proverbial prisoner to just a reality that you just want it to be, you want it to just be a different thing, which finally, oh my God, it's starting to happen. It's not quite there just yet, but it's the dome is starting to crack. That big, like, high pressure heat dome is finally starting to show signs of cracking. And it's hard to have, and thankfully we've had a couple of some pretty key individuals that have been able to help us through these times, but it's hard. A lot of times, like during this time of year, you'll see it's hard. Like we have like community service. For some reason, those numbers will start to go down, and then you might not see like certain volunteers with the same degree of frequency. Some volunteers, like, they continue to show up weekly or every other week, like how they normally would throughout the year. So mad props to that. They're the real ones. Yep. And of course, same time, you say like, well, it gets up to 105, and then people from Arizona is like, big deal, it was like 115. And like, yeah, that's true, but it's also a desert where you're at. And I've been in desert heat, and I've been in soupy heat. And trust me, trust me, when the oven goes up and it's dry, that sucks. But when the oven goes like up and then you add like some water, that sucks too. That's a different type of suck. It all sucks. I remember it was, such vindication. My brother-in-law, who lives in Arizona, has lived in Arizona for like 40 years. He's like, man, it gets hot, and you Texas people, and originally he's from Ohio. He's like, you Texans. And he came out here to do some work. This was like 10 years ago. He came out to do some work, build some buildings and stuff like that. And it was maybe like 93. And he's like, it's so humid. Oh, God. I'm like, well, what's the matter? You're the Arizona guy would be able to handle a little bit of moisture. Hi. Whoa. There was, she's spitting bars over here. You see that? Man. Wise words. Look at that. That's nice. Very pretty. Maybe one more there. Oh yeah, and that thing too. It doesn't behave the same way every day, and like not every clear blue sky day, because you could have 5 days in a row, and it's 102 all 5 days. Every single one of those days, depending on the humidity and depending on what that stupid thing is going to be doing, it's going to feel different. Because like if you look at the UV index and it's moderate, it's like, okay, if the UV index is moderate and like the relative humidity is relatively low, 102 is not great, but it's okay. You can work in it for a decent amount of time. But if the humidity is high and then the UV index is extreme, like that, it's not just like uncomfortable, it's like, it's dangerous. You'd walk around and be like, I need to go sit down for a little. I might pass out. Yeah. I'm sure that there's people that are probably like, we get it, Derek, it's been hot. Just shut up and show us the cats. And that's a fair point. My brains have been cooked. And I've been living in this for weeks, and I just wanted to just like turn on my camera and just splurge this info to you guys, okay? I'm using this as almost like a form of therapy, so just lay off me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that in that tone next to you. He doesn't seem to care. Wow, okay. Salt and dude. Is this your fort? Is this section yours? No visitors allowed? Bandito. And your mom says that you're the sweetest little boy. And she has googly heart eyes whenever she sees Bandito. I see him. I love him. Love him. But I'm like, he's a bit of a stinker. He's got tood, a little bit of a stinker. And he swears. Makes tiger swears. I don't know if he does it when mom's around. Maybe if she heard him swear, she might have a different opinion. But neither here nor there. Anyway. Thanks for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorbus Award in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. You keep those tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy, and thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Monkey's buttered toast. Munchie saw a ghost. Mika weighs the most.